Hey everybody, Brad Linder coming back at you again for another card today. A little bit later in the evening, I'm going to share this over with the page, and then we'll go from there. And just want to get that going. Okay, cool deal. All right, now that we've got that shared over, I'm going to be drawing Loki, and I don't normally do the Marvel Now or the modern Marvel type of stuff. But on this one, I just wanted to do it because of the fact that I really like this Loki. Even though, like I said, Chris Hemsworth, awesome actor, awesome portrayal on screen, but physically he is Thunderstrike, and since Ragnarok, he has become Thor turned Thunderstrike turned Raiden from Mortal Kombat at this point. Um, no spoilers there, other than the fact that his eyes light up and he shoots thunder out of his, thunder and lightning out of his hands and whatnot now. And I won't explain how it happens. I'll just say that it does. And yeah, it's awkward, but it's the way it went down. So I took a little time today, earlier in the day, to go see this film because of the fact that I had a couple of meetings and things, and um, it's just been a down day for me for some reason. I've been running a little off um, on scheduling, and I got in a little later in the afternoon than expected, so I had to handle that and catch up on work before I could go live. And then Facebook decided to fight me, so it made it interesting. Um, I got a lot of emails about it and private messages about it, and I appreciate all the concern. But yeah, I'm here and doing it and knocking out the books and stuff as we were supposed to today. For the most part, I got everything covered. I still got to go tweak a couple things on the covers for Amazon to make them happy, and then after that, I'm gonna be working on that this evening to get those out. So if you're waiting for the review copies of the book, um, for the people doing that for me, which I'm very graciously uh, saying, hey, thank you for returning that and reciprocating the kindness, and uh, very cool acceptance of the reviews, and trying to be cool about it and calm about it, because I don't want to be in everybody's face and say, hey, just take my book and check it out. I've been very quiet and calm and cool about that, and for everybody that's wanting to participate, I so appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'm grateful for that. That's going to be awesome. But yeah, I got a bunch of stuff I got to put out for the promotional, and I have King Kong and Godzilla sitting right over here staring me in the face, which I'm not going to show ahead of time because I want to be cool about that and keep it kind of secretive till you guys get a chance to look at it when I start drawing that this weekend, and which I am, and it's going to be awesome. And just to answer the request already that I've been getting on it, I don't think I'm going to let that one go um, just at random. I think because I'll start it tomorrow with it being Friday and whatnot, but I'm not going to do a giveaway Friday on that one because of the fact that there are so many people that have been requesting it. I want to be fair about it, and I'm probably just going to stick it up on eBay or up on my website and sell it direct and let you guys hash it out, and then give a good portion of the proceeds to charity, just for sake of doing that, and it being the holiday season and my wanting to give back. So I think that would be really cool to do, but we'll see. I mean, if you guys want it bad enough, that's what I'll do. But we'll find out, as we go along through the weekend and see how many people pay attention to it and are interested. whatnot. So whatnot. Also, this card's going to be very easy. I also just wanted to say, for those that are ready for it, I'm going to put up the preview of the Kickstarter. It's finally live, and I have to post that publicly this weekend as well, as long as they don't give me another stipulation or another holdup. Because they said, they've been going through this process for about the last 2 or 3 weeks now, and they changed their policies and whatnot. And every time that I post the thing ready to go, they say, yeah, you're active, you're live, you can go, you're in preview status, and just whenever you want to post it up. And then they come running in with all the censor flags waving and saying, no, you can't do that, don't do that, we've got something wrong with that because of our new policy. And it's just, come on. Stop. Let me put my book out there, because that's specifically for my comic book, and or one of them anyway. And I want to get it out there for you guys, but dang, they have been fighting me tooth and nail. And I mean, if it could happen, it did. And I've never had a campaign run that hard. But at this point, though, it is what it is. I mean, I'm not going to gripe about it or fight them or turn them down, or whatever. I know a lot of people have been doing that lately, and I'm just like, no, I think I'll keep Kickstarter going. I mean, but as long as they don't burn me, I'll be all right with it. And as long as they don't, make it to where you guys don't have an interest in the book anymore, because it's been so long with me saying, hey, we're ready to go, and then, hey, there's another hang up from from Kickstarter. So they're getting a little redundant with that. I'm trying to get them to let it go and get approved. And then as soon as I do, they make me change other stuff. So, but right now it's in status of holding. So we're going to see what happens. It's holding good for it being legit and in preview status, so I can get on there and get you guys some links to check it out and get ready to help promote it if you want to do that. With it being the holiday season, though, I'm going to run this one a little long. I want to run it to at least a little bit after Christmas. I'm probably going to be running it to about maybe the 10th. I'm going to run it a 60 or 90-day run, which is going to be tight for some people, but I've been asked to hold off because of the fact of, after Christmas, everybody wanting to get the book after Christmas and whatnot. And I'm cool with that to an extent, but I still got to get this thing out for people that, I've said it would be out for. And I want to make sure that everything's rocking and rolling the way it's supposed to. So it's been a busy afternoon, to say the least. And I just want to get this card out for you guys so that we keep the record going. And like I said, I just wanted to give a little update on that, because I've been getting asked about it, especially the book this week. That Amazon situation is just, geez, man, every time. But that's okay, though, because I'm used to that. I know stuff happens with this, and that's why I don't take it, I take it with a grain of salt, and I don't take it as a heartbreaking situation whenever you guys have to be told straight up, hey, there's another hang up. Well, that's fine and all that, but I don't get crushed by it unless someone gets upset. One of you guys gets upset. Amazon's going to do what they want to do anyway, and unfortunately, that's just the call of the wild and the beast that we deal with when we deal with putting books up there. Normally, they don't take this long, though, but I don't know what the deal is in this particular case. However, like I said, though, from what they're telling me with their support, it's just the opposing policy changes and whatnot. And it's just like, well, whatever. You guys are going to say whatever you want to say and do what you want to do, but I'm still putting my book on there, dadgummit. It's not getting away from me. So, that's it. That's where it's at. I'm not running away. I'm putting that book out there, and then I'm putting a couple right after it. So, cool deal, cool deal. But if you ever go to put a book up there yourself on Amazon, understand, give yourself plenty of leeway, because they're going to play games. They're going to play games. They're going to make you redo your cover. They're going to make you, redo this feature, redo that feature, redo content, redo the structuring of the categories you're in. I don't know if you guys are interested in doing that or not. I would not recommend doing it for comics. I have a couple of comics up there. I have my Catman Evolution series on there that you guys can get digital, but I'm moving it to my own digital platform that you guys will be able to get on and put your books on there as well. And I'm not gonna keep it on because of the keep it on Amazon because of the fact that it's just not as productive for business. I've seen a lot of people put them on Comixology and then directly on Amazon, but they get backwashed so badly under the white papers and magazines and things online in the ranking system for Amazon. So it's just not worth it to put comics on there. Comics and magazines are just not worth putting on there anymore. It's way easier to go direct and put in direct sales that way through your own website or through a digital distributor, rather than trying to get them on Amazon's platform, because Comixology is wiping them out, and they're trying to filter everybody to go through Comixology and stop using Amazon completely. And they're trying to also set up a new magazine platform after 2018. I believe they're starting. They're saying that they're going to start a magazine platform, and comics and things like that are going to be categorized in it, because Comixology is not making quite as much profit as they used to, since they went to a subscription-based platform, and they're taking too much money away from the publishers. If you don't know what that means, let me explain to you real quick. If they tell you to go in their subscription program, don't do that as a comic creator. Okay, don't do that as a comic creator, because what you're doing is you're losing money on the front end. And I've gone over this a couple of times before, but I'll go over it again, just in case anybody doesn't know. When you go in that subscription service, what they're doing is they're charging the members of Comixology subscription fees to buy access to their monthly program. But the thing is, the books that you're getting in there, yes, it's free exposure to an extent, and that's advertising dollars that you could use to get people hooked into your contract, your continuity for your comic books. But the problem is they have no contract agreement with you as a publisher, because what's happening is those subscription services are giving you, say they give 1 through 5 of your book away. And yeah, that's great promotion. Everybody will come off and buy 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Well, guess what? They're not going to, because to keep them as a subscription service, they have to keep giving that series away for free, so they keep evolving it. And they'll hold off for 60 days, and then they'll put that over into Comixology paid, into Comixology subscription for free, and they'll move it over to where the subscribers will keep going, because they're only going to keep the subscription for whatever books they can get in continuity. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to let them do that, and then they're going to keep that client for free forever under that subscription. As far as you're concerned, you will never see any of that subscription money ever. So don't let them fool you, and don't play around with that, and say, hey, that's free advertisement for me through Amazon and Comixology. They're cheating you, because what they're gonna have to do is they're gonna have to keep that client on that subscription service, and they're not going to continue to buy your book. This is not a sample program. They're taking their good, strong continuity and their comics, and they're posting them on these subscription services, and then not giving you a financial kickback off of the exposure. They're saying it's exposure for your book and title for that reader to come on and read your book. But the thing is, like I said, if you're going off with them posting your book for free for 5 issues or whatever's on the platform already, they're going to turn right around and give it away, and they've got to keep that subscriber happy. So what are they going to do? They're going to give away the rest of your book, and that's what they do. I've seen it time and time again. I mean, they've got over half of the population of the subscriber readership that's comic based reading a bunch of the Image titles. I mean, a bunch. I don't know exact numbers and percentages, but they've got a major chunk of The Walking Dead on there now. And, they're not paying Kirkman for that. They're not paying Image for that. And, you see all these things with like Image going into their own websites, print on demand or print copy as well as digital copy that they've been doing the last couple of years because of the fact that Comixology is burning them so bad and taking all their money. So think about that. Amazon does not care about the comic book industry. They don't. They don't care about you as independent publishers. They don't. They prove it every stinking day. And don't get me wrong, if you've got a book or something, or you've got a graphic novel trade on there that you can keep individualized, you're good to go. If you don't opt in for that subscription service, you're also good to go. It's a great platform to sell from, but you have to promote it though. Understand, you have to do all the work. Amazon doesn't promote for you, therefore Comixology is not going to promote for you either, no matter what they tell you in their advertising. They are not going to promote for you. So just understand that when you get into that, because it'll bite you. It will bite you. And if you ask Comixology directly, their support, they will tell you that they're giving you free promotion and advertising to their mailing list under their subscriptions. But they're not. They're not. What they're advertising in the subscription service is taking away from your direct sales. Don't let them rip you off. So that's what that's about. But just take it with a grain of salt as you think, you need to for your business, and do what's best for you, of course. But man, like I said, I'm not being a hypocrite here because I don't check into that. I put my books on Amazon and I'll leave them there for a little while if they're selling good, but if they're not, then I'll pull them off. That's what that unpublished option's for. Especially for comics and graphic novels and small pieces like that. If they're not selling, go to another platform. But there's no reason not to have them on there. Just make sure you don't join that subscription service. But understand, if you don't do the subscription service and you bypass it, they're going to take your ranking and push you further back in the system. But then on top of that, if you're part of their subscription service, in the same coin here, or conversation here, they're going to take you down that route as well. And what they're going to do is they're going to say, okay, you're either in the subscription service and we give you quote unquote exposure, which we don't pay you for on the sales for your comics, so you're losing sales, or you don't subscribe to it and they push you back further in the listing. So you think about that. Think about what you're dealing with there. And don't let anybody tell you different. Study the analytics. Do it with one book for a month and do it with another, and don't do it with another, and see how the analytics and the sales go through on that book. It doesn't matter which one it is, what number it is, what title it is. Just check it out for yourself. Do the work. If you question what I'm saying or what anybody else says, which you should always question, test it for yourself. Put your book on there and see how it goes. I guarantee you will not get as good a listing if you're not in that subscription service, and you will turn around and not get near as good results. And then when you see how many subscribers they have seeing your books, because they'll give you stats on how many downloads you have, guess what? You'll see 50,000 downloads under the subscribers you have, because they also have a share option. So be forewarned. They're going to take your book and they're going to take a lot of profit away from you. But like I said, you do the research and see what you think is best for you. I know I won't do it, but that's just me. So let's see here. This looks like Loki is coming to life. Yay. And sorry, I don't want to sound like I'm bashing on anything because I'm not. Okay? I'm not bashing on Comixology. I'm not bashing on Amazon or anything like that. I mean, they clearly state that their policies are so-and-so and so-and-so. And if you want to go for it, you go for it. Just understand what you're getting into before you do it. That's what I'm saying. Protect yourself before you get into it, because that's what I'm saying don't do. Don't put yourself in a pickle and then say, I didn't know that was going to do that. Because they're not going to tell you. They're making money off of you. They're not going to tell you. Funny thing about this rendition of Loki with Tom Hiddleston is the fact that the dude has like no wrinkles or expression, no lines of expression that you can really track on his face. And I mean, I know this isn't a photo likeness. I don't do that. I don't do portrait art, that kind of thing. I want it to look like my cartoon style or my animated style or my comic book style. I don't want it to look like him to a T, because that's not what I'm doing here. I mean, if it was, that'd be awesome, but I'm not. Again, I'm not doing that. Not that I can't, I just don't prefer to. Because, I mean, I can make it look like him all day if I wanted to, but it's just not fun to me. You know what I mean? So that's why we have this rendition on all of these comics and these cards and things like that I do. So, and you guys shouldn't do that either, If you're not a realistic artist or you want to go portrait, you don't have to. Or super realism, you don't have to. I prefer comics to be more cartoony because of the fact that I like them to be, I like them to have that classic fantasy look, like they are actual artwork, not a graphic novel, adaptation or anything like that where they get serious and they look like the movies, because the material didn't look like the movies when it started. It was created from the opposite direction. So comics are supposed to look like comics. And don't let anybody tell you any different. I hear that all the time. It's like, now that they got the live action version, the movie version, why don't you draw like the actors? I don't want to draw the actors. I want to draw the comics. I don't want to draw the actors. No offense to the actors, but I don't want to draw the actors. I want to draw the comics that I know were designed from the original concept art of the character itself. And I hear that kind of stuff all the time because there's some artists that go, wow, well, you got to make it look like a movie and you got to be realistic with it. And that's what people want. They want to see the realism and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, okay. And all the all the comics out there look like the 1950s Disney stuff. And you're telling me they want photorealism or they want this, that, and the other, I mean, you can be like a Ken Lashley or, one of those other guys that goes semi-realistic, which is cool. His stuff on X-Men and the Black Panther was phenomenal. And I've been a fan of his for many, many years. But then there are other people, that go photorealistic and even deeper than that. But 99% of the stuff that's at Disney right now, the Disney Marvel line, is the very, very two-dimensional, cartoony, classic, almost 50s, maybe even a 40s style in some of them. I mean, they have a modern expression look, but they look like 50s Disney cartoons where everybody looks cartoony. And that's a different aesthetic to have to comics that they don't have And in a lot of cases, they've never had, especially at Marvel, with Jack Kirby and, Sal and John Buscema, and there's just numbers of artists that made that Marvel distinct style that Jack Kirby, and other specific artists came up with. So I think it's the wrong direction, but it's not my business. It's not. I'm not in charge of it, so it is what it is, and that's where we're at. That is Marvel now, just so you guys know. I wanted him to look a little nastier, so I put a little the bags under his eyes right there. That little funky touch of that eyelid gives him a little pop to it, because I want to be careful not to age him in the process of putting in these expressive lines. Okay, that's a very fine line right there, to where you can, if you put one line too many, instantly he's 60, and you don't want to do that. But for the most part, though, this is where we're at with this armor. I'm going to put a couple lines here and there just to kind of texture it a little bit. Let's see here. Go right down here on the bottom, right under that line there. I think that's going to be enough. I don't want to scratch it up too much. But anyway, that's it, folks. We're going to call it Loki done for the day. And I hope you dig it. Let's see here real quick. Kevin, hey, man, thanks for popping on. Chris, you too, bud. I appreciate it. Thanks. Chris says it looks good for the guys watching this later on YouTube. Kevin, to answer your question, man, have you seen any of the reviews for the JLA yet? Not good. I've seen a couple of the trailers, but I haven't really been reading the reviews yet. I try not to, because normally when the critics don't like a movie, that's when I do. That's when I tend to enjoy it. They hated 300, and I loved that movie, because it followed the comic book, the graphic novel. Same thing with the likes of, hey, Alfred. Same thing with the likes of, let's see, there was 300. There was a History of Violence, which people hated, and I love that movie. Let's see, there was Road to Perdition, which was phenomenal as a film, but it went completely off base with the comic book. I love the graphic novel more than I like the movie itself, because everybody ranted and raved about it, how it was Tom Hanks and this, that, and the other, and blah blah blah. And then when I watched it, I was like, man, that's a disappointment in comparison to the graphic novel. You hear that kind of thing all the time, but with the upcoming JLA, I know it comes out this coming weekend, and I'm excited about it. I really am. All the critics have ripped this thing apart. All the fans have ripped it apart with everything from the Man of Steel, the new Batman, the Nolan Batman trilogy. They ripped it apart. Then they ripped up Man of Steel, and then they ripped up Batman versus Superman, and now they're ripping up this one. Everybody seems to like Wonder Woman all right, either for it or against it, one or the other. It's a split right down the middle. But the majority of what I understand, people liked it. I'm okay with that. I really am. I'll wait and see what comes of it. But to answer your question, though, I haven't really read anything about the JLA yet that I've been really concerned with. It's going to be one of those things where the critics are going to rip it apart. The fans are going to be stoked about it for a little bit until it comes out, and we're going to have to find out what's going on, because the WB is doing the same thing Disney did with Marvel, but the problem is they don't want them to. They want them to stick to the original material, and they're making a new generation of heroes, just like everybody else did for Marvel, and at Disney doing for Marvel and whatnot. It's the same thing. You can't complain about it, and say, praise one side and then have them follow suit in the other studio, because it's exactly what they've done for every generation that they've been around. You know, DC came out with the superhero lineup and got out of the anthology stuff. Back in the day, it was fad comics, okay? It was random superheroes, it was random sci-fi, it was random romance, random combat, random war, random my love, your love, our love kind of thing. And then it was battle tank, battlefield, battle guy, battle this, battle that for the war stuff. And it was wartime this, war strike, it was war monthly, fear of war, all these great comics that were back out then. It was tons of superhero stuff all at the same time. And then the superhero team genre came out, the superhero actual comic book genre came out. And then we got to where DC transitioned completely to those type of comic books. And then Marvel followed suit with that and came out with where we had the superpowered or mythology mix over at DC, with the alien being Superman, or the average everyman billionaire coming out with Batman, the super detective. And then you had the round out of the Trinity, which was Wonder Woman, which was a goddess out of mythology. Well, they did the same thing over at Marvel. They created a team book, but Stan Lee always stayed in more political, pop culture, and sci-fi. He always based everything out of science and gave it a reason. Generally a reason, but still gave it a reason. It was either cosmic rays, gamma rays, some kind of scientific explosion or accident that caused whatever it was, toxic waste in the eyes for Daredevil. You had the Fantastic Four getting hit with the solar radiation flares. Then you had the explosion giving gamma rays to the Hulk, which was Frankenstein and Jekyll and Hyde in one spinoff. Then you had the family dynamic of the Fantastic Four. You had the school burden of every guy and girl in the world in the X-Men, which was also racism and sexism in that book, as pop culture ground down on that in the news. And then you had Spider-Man, which could be every kid behind the mask in the world, every geeky underground underdog kid that was ever bullied in the world underneath that mask. And it was them getting back out into the world and saying, hey, we've got a response to that. So when you see that on the big screen for films and things, don't trip out on it, because it's the same exact thing. Marvel led the way in the films, where DC led the way in in comics. They dipped into that and they tried to do the goody two-shoe, 1930s, 40s, and 50s style format, and it worked up until the 80s. And, even into the 90s with Lois and Clark, which was phenomenal. I love that series and I have it on DVD. But the point is, on the big screen, Superman and all these other characters had the power and the impact, but they weren't brave enough to go dark enough with the scripts, they being Warner Brothers and DC, until later. So now it's acceptable, and they're trying to get it to format on that scale to where they have to push that barrier of doing the action as well as the backstory of the heroes. So another thing they've all got to stop doing is making clouds into monsters and into villains. If they stop doing that, they'll be fine. Wonder Woman almost followed suit with that, but we actually had a villain in there, which was cool. But yeah, I look forward to the JLA, and I think it's going to be a great run. We'll see how it goes, man. So I hope that answered your question and caused a little bit of conversation there. But I'll talk to you guys later. Check you tomorrow with another one. And be nice. Give somebody a hi. Give somebody a hug. Give somebody a smile. And I'll talk to you guys tomorrow back at the regular time, about 4 Central. And this weekend, we will have the King Kong versus Godzilla for you guys on the big page. So until then, talk to you soon.